A Florida man stabbed his brother in the neck for talking over the food while cooking. A human head was discovered on a Florida beach. A naked man was found touching himself underneath an elderly woman's home. And Spirit Airlines flight from Florida received gunshots over Haiti. These are the weird stories for Friday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast. On Friday, we only do weird news from Florida. Florida Friday on Weird AF News. Here we go. A Florida man stabbed his brother because he was talking over the food while cooking. This is just your typical Florida brotherly love. This story is out of Miami. A Miami, Florida man was arrested on Wednesday after he stabbed his brother in the neck. The neck? Of all places. You stab him in the neck for talking over, quote, talking over the food while he was cooking. I'm not saying I approve, but I understand. What's worse than someone talking over your food while you're cooking? Basically, what that means is they're spitting on your food while cooking. And someone else's spit on your food could really screw up your wonderful recipe. I mean, could you really blame the guy for putting a ceasefire on that Spitfire? Let's get some more details. We have Alexander Rodriguez, age 20, stabbing his brother. Well, first of all, age 20 and he's cooking. It's pretty good. Good for Alexander. I don't meet a lot of Gen Zs that know how to cook, so props on Alexander. Just whipping up some lunch. He stabbed his brother, though, with a kitchen knife, so things took a turn for the worse. This was at their Miami home. This was after they got into an argument because his brother was talking over the food while he was cooking. The stabbing didn't occur in the kitchen, though. Apparently there was a chase scene. The brother ran off into the bedroom. Rodriguez, the chef, followed him, slicing his arm, slicing his face, according to the police. When the police and fire rescue arrived at the Miami home, the brother was covering his stab wounds with clothing. He was taken to a nearby hospital in stable condition, thankfully. Rodriguez, the chef, fled from the home and was found hiding in a nearby tree after police set up a perimeter. He was taken into custody. When the detectives interviewed Rodriguez, he told them he got irritated when his brother was talking over the food. He added that he thought his brother was going for the knife because of the attitude his brother had. So he's trying to pull the self-defense thing when it sounds like he was the aggressor. But I still think we need more information to put a final judgment on this. Was the guy spitting on the food? Because you can't have that. You can't. Maybe Rodriguez is really into this recipe. He had a new recipe. He watched a guy on YouTube. And then the brother comes over, talking over the food, drooling over the food. And then he's like, "You've messed up my Alfredo sauce, eh? You hocked tour on my homemade Alfredo. Stab, 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 stab." The article ends saying Florida man Chef Rodriguez was booked into jail Thursday morning on charges of attempted felony murder and aggravated battery with a deadly kitchen weapon. And wait till this Florida man finds out about the secret ingredient in the prison food. It's not going to be a good ending for Chef Rodriguez. A naked Florida man was found committing lewd acts underneath an elderly woman's home. We got a naked Florida man arrested by the police after he was found hiding beneath the home of an 89-year-old woman's home in Tallahassee, or as I like to call it, Talla Shafty, Talla Sassy, Talla Nasty, Talla Shady, Talla Watch Your Backsy, Talla Bail Me Out of Jailsy, Talla Men Taking Out Their Saxies. All right, some of those are bad. We have James Conner, age 28, the Florida man, who was performing lewd acts on himself. There's just a lot of lewd acts going on in Florida. Florida is the worldwide capital of lewd acts. You can fill in the blanks with your imagination what the lewd acts might be, but they run quite a range in the state of Florida. Everybody's naked, though. It's always involving a naked Florida man. Naked Florida man. If you just Google naked Florida man, the headlines that follow, it never ends. You just keep scrolling page after page after page of naked Florida man headlines. I mean, it's impressive. It says here, James was living underneath this woman's mobile home. And under there, he was performing lewd acts. They call that a Florida mating ritual, I believe, right? Just Florida man just trying to get it on here. This is what they do. Watch as the naked Florida man goes about trying to woo the Florida woman. He begins by drinking a pint of moonshine and taking a few hits off his horny pipe. Now, the article says it's not clear how long James was living under the the woman's home. Well, the housing shortage has just gotten out of control, where people are just living under other people's houses. The lady's grandson said that they would hear noises over several weeks, usually late at night. They thought it was animals under the home. The noises were kind of like a knocking. Eventually, the police were called, and it took the officers several hours to get James Connor out from under the home. In fact, it took the police using gas, police dogs, and a SWAT team to lure him out. This guy's a superhero. According to the police, he refused to leave. He wasn't scared of the dogs, and the first 2 attempts at gas didn't fish him out either. That is wild. This guy had a mission. He was on. He needed to finish. He wasn't going to stop. I mean, when a Florida man is in the midst of getting his wank on, it's going to take more than tear gas and a SWAT team to make him stop. Now, I don't recommend, now that we're on the subject, wanking in some stranger's home, right? That's just terrible. But listen, if you're gonna, rule number 1 is just to keep quiet. You got to keep quiet, dude. Rule number 2 is find a more comfortable spot to be pantsless. Am I right? I mean, dude, under the house of all the places, that can't be comfortable, man. Like, find a closet, under a bed, maybe. I don't know. Just under a house just doesn't seem like a place that you could get your sexy time on. But then again, I've never been in the mind of a cracked out Florida man tweaker. So what do I know? These people have been known to get it on with seagulls behind a dumpster, so I've covered on the show, so I don't even know why I'm surprised. A human head was found on a Florida beach. A shocking discovery was made on a well-frequented Florida beach when a beach employee stumbled upon a human head. This gruesome find has led to an extensive police probe. They're probably looking for the owner of this head. Let me check here. All right, it's not mine. I have mine. Check your head at home. Do you have your head? Okay, it's not ours. Does it belong to Lieutenant Dan? We haven't heard from that guy in a while. Maybe this is his head. It says here, the beach employee was tidying the sands. That's a job, tidying up. Could you please get out there and tidy up the sands? What do they just give him a rake? Like, go to town. Tidying up the sands at... Or maybe it just means picking up trash. It could just mean picking up trash. I'd imagine a Florida beach is probably a wasteland of syringes and body parts and apparently bales of cocaine. Actually, that sounds like a great job to be a beach employee, tidying up the sands every morning, because you could find a bale of cocaine that might change your life. Okay, this all happened on Tuesday, and the Miami-Dade Police Department verified the head's human origin. Good job. Did you have to send it to the lab for that? We found a head on the beach. We're going to send it to the lab to figure out what kind of head it is. We think it might be the head of a salamander or an emu. But it came back human. A human after all. Should have known with the eyes facing front. So stupid. To verify the human origin, they promptly sealed off the vicinity of the beach with tape and traffic cones as they launched an inquiry. That means looking for the rest of the human being, the body. They need to find somebody. Somebody missing a head. Oh. Okay. It says here the deceased identity is still a mystery. They don't know who it is, whose head this is. Here's a quote from the police. Well, we can rule out anyone with a head still attached. Just kidding. Just made that up. Okay, to identify the deceased, the local medical examiner's office is closely collaborating with law officials. Homicide has taken over the case. We have a police representative who stated, quote, detectives are on scene and are working with the medical examiner to determine the identity of this individual. Yeah, well, I mean, you could take a picture of the head and put it on Facebook. That might help. You could put the head on the roof of one of your patrol cars and drive around the neighborhood for a little while, see if anyone recognizes. I'm sorry, this is... What do you think the motive of this headless beach inhabitant? I'm going to go out on a limb and say drug cartel. Yeah, it's a human severed head on a Miami beach. That's totally a drug cartel. There's a Scarface in your city somewhere. Police, I suggest you go find the Scarface that resides in there's probably more than one in Miami, and you'll find your perpetrator. Although I guess you can't rule out a shark attack. I read that the head is the most difficult human body part to get down, and that sharks will just leave the head. I should probably Google this before I say things like this. Hold on. Boy, was I surprised from this Google search. It actually says no, sharks don't eat humans because humans aren't part of their natural diet and they're not considered prey. Well, I think several million Floridians would beg to differ. There's been a bunch of shark attacks lately anyways. Where did I hear that head comment? Well, I shouldn't spread these things around. I believe they call that misinformation. Now, the article has a quote from a resident of the area named Alex, who says, well, that's pretty crazy. It's pretty scary, man. I never heard of anything like this happening before on this kind of beach. I guess I am curious if they have any information on where it came from, if anything else has been found, if it happened here on the island or washed up on the shore. I guess I assume it might have happened someplace else and washed up here, but I do worry because of this. I do worry. All right, Alex, just maybe lay off the caffeine a little bit, sir. How about that? Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see if they find somebody missing a head. A Spirit Airlines flight from Florida to Haiti had to be diverted after being struck by gunfire. Is anybody shocked this is Spirit? I mean, if you had to just guess the airline without being told, you'd be like, that's Spirit Airlines. In fact, are we even sure this gunfire didn't come from inside the cabin? Check the bathroom. I mean, I've seen those patrons on Spirit Air. Those bullet holes were probably already there, bro. I need to see proof here. Okay, so we have a Spirit Airlines flight traveling from Fort Lauderdale to Haiti. It had to be diverted to the Dominican Republic after they say the aircraft was struck by gunfire. I didn't even know that you could fly to Haiti right now. Isn't the government being run by gangs? I thought it was out of control. Yeah. Anyways, Spirit's still flying there. They're like, yeah, no, we'll go. We'll just charge everybody a little extra fee if you want a gunshot safe seat. The article says it's flight number 951, which departed Fort Lauderdale on Monday morning. It landed safely in Dominican Republic following the incident. An inspection revealed damage consistent with the gunfire. There was a video shared on social media showing bullet holes in the emergency exit door and overhead compartments. Was anybody hit? One passenger said, quote, there was confusion. We didn't know exactly what was going on, but the crew was very, very traumatized. One flight attendant sustained minor injuries, it does say, and is being evaluated by medical personnel. No passengers were injured during the incident, thankfully. I gotta tell you, this would be one of the strangest announcements to hear on a flight. This is your pilot. We're experiencing heavy artillery gunfire in the area. Please stay in your seats. Keep your seatbelts fastened. We're going to be giving out some free refreshments for anyone who's been shot. Just raise your hand if you've been wounded, and we'll come around and give you a complimentary Pepsi. And the article ends by saying Spirit Airlines has suspended its service to Port-au-Prince and Cap Haitian for further evaluation. Yeah, you probably shouldn't be flying there in the first place. I think it's like a revolution going on, right? Again, I don't want to spread misinformation here. JetBlue Airlines and American Airlines announced they will also suspend flights to and from Haiti for further evaluation. It also says on Monday that the U.S. Embassy reported Haiti's main airport had been temporarily shut down due to gangs attempting to seize control. Political chaos continues as And gunfire rings out throughout Haiti, forcing people to run to safety. All right, this is like... Didn't the incident occur on Monday? I mean, don't you even read the news before you fly somewhere, buddies? Yeah, this happened on Monday. Love it. The gangs take over the airport and then Spirit Air flies there. I mean, in a way, it's pretty good that they took the gunfire and turned around. You don't want to land in a gang-run airport, I imagine, right? It's not going to go well. Although, I don't know, with most of the flight being filled with Floridamen, they'd probably be very comfortable around those shenanigans. I know that I gave you somebody. Somebody. It's so fun to do. I should try that at karaoke. Hey, everybody. Thanks for spending some time with Jonesy and the Weird AF News podcast, Florida Friday edition. Thank you to those of you who sent me Florida stories the last couple of days. Appreciate it. You can always email me stories. Send the link. The link's important. funnyjones@gmail.com. Also on Instagram @funnyjones, where you can follow me there. Please follow me there. You can find out where I'm performing stand-up comedy. Tonight, Friday night in Long Beach at the Laugh Factory. If you're interested, DM me. I'll put you on the guest list. Give me a few hours notice, though, because I have to email them the list, and it has to go through a process, and sometimes they don't see it. So just hit me up like a few hours before the show starts, if you could please do that. Not when you're on the way. I got a nice review. Let's read the review I got from a very nice individual named Adam Mobley. Adam Mobley was so generous. Adam gave me 5 stars. Isn't that amazing? This is on Amazon, by the way, where I can use 5 stars because I get a lot of 1-star reviews on Amazon. So Adam's coming. He's coming with the heat. He brings the heat with the 5 stars. The title is Jonesy is truly dialed in on the weird, funny humor. Jonesy's podcast is the greatest of entertainment in the news. It's hard-hitting, hardcore, laughs from start to finish. Been listening for years. During the pandemic, he had me outside in the cold of night, Midwest USA suburbia, giving wolf howls as loud as I could. And you know what I was get howled back. You know what I get, I think he meant to say, I got howled back at. Yeah, Adam's referring to an episode I did during the pandemic where there was a situation where people were just losing their minds from being stuck indoors and they were opening their windows and howling. And so I told the listeners to go to your window and do that. Just go to your window. Go to your window and put your head out and howl like a wolf, I said. I was channeling my what was the guy's name from that movie, The Network, where he goes, go to the window and yell, I'm mad as hell and I can't stand it anymore. Remember that? Oh, I love that. What was that actor's name? He died right after that movie was made and never received his Oscar. He's one of 2 actors to receive an Oscar posthumously. The other one was Heath Ledger. Just some fascinating Hollywood trivia for you, in case you're wondering. Anyways, I love that movie, The Network. So I was channeling that. I said, yes, go to your window and howl like a wolf. Ow! Ow! And in fact, if I remember correctly, I wanted listeners to call in and howl on my voicemail. And I think, if I remember correctly, a bunch of people did that as well. That was a weird time, guys. We got through it, though. We got through it together. I'm so glad you were with me there. I needed you. Anyway, shout out to Adam Mobley for leaving me an amazing review on Amazon. That really, really helps the podcast if you leave a positive review. And you can do so on Amazon or Apple Podcasts, also known as iTunes. There's some other places that you can, I believe. I'm not familiar. If you're listening on Spotify, by the way, you can click on 5 stars, like really quickly. Just click on 5 stars. That only takes a second. You can't write a review per se, but you can click on those stars, and that helps with the show as well. So please take a moment to do that. And if you want to support the show, go to weirdafnews.com. That's the official website, and you can click on the Patreon banner or the Buy a Coffee banner, and you can either buy Jonesy a coffee or join the Patreon, which is a great way to support the show. I released a bonus episode this week, in fact, on the Patreon. It's a Patreon exclusive. You get an extra hour and change of a bonus episode of Weird AF News, along with my friend, a comedian and host of That Was Wild podcast, Adam Macias. And it's an amazing, amazing bonus episode. It's really, really fun. So, and if you happen to be a member of the Patreon, make sure you listen to that because it's really good. Anyways, I'm going to let you go. I hope you have a great weekend and good luck with your life, man.